on the next episode of Sips, Suds, and Smokes.
So we're going to be tasting some interesting whiskeys today. So, yeah, Scotch. The spirits we're going to be tasting today from Valinch and Mallet, we have their Ardmore 8-year. We have their Royal Brackla 12-year. We have their Bruichladdich 15. We have a Tamdhu 20-year. We've got the Inchgower 21. And then the last one from Valinch and Mallet is the one that... Come on.
Brent's favorite.
Brent, get back to the table. He's sitting in the corner rocking back and forth with the bottle. That's a Lagavulin 8-year.
Added a touch of water to mine.
Yeah, he literally poured a bottle of water in the glass.
Is it Mallet or Mallet?
Mallet. And the last one that we have is from folks at Orphan Barrel, the Orphan Barrel Muckety Muck.
We'll be right back after this break. Brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. And now it's sippin' time.
Yes, it's sipping time again. Hello and welcome to this Sips episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. As always, we are the best thing on at 2 a.m.
Oh, I don't think so. I think the reruns of Gilligan's Island are now on.
Ginger and Marianne.
Yep.
Come on. Ginger and Marianne.
Totally Ginger, dude. It's totally Ginger.
Freak.
Marianne.
No, Marianne. Absolutely.
You know what? All good things in life are worth discussing on this show. Why not both? Why not both?
Well, one could dream, but that'll never happen. That's just, that's more than a mortal man
It's
could
outre. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How about, okay, that's going to happen. Sure it is. Yeah. And Jack Tripper wasn't sleeping with either one of those two girls either. Come on, please.
Mr. Roper wouldn't allow it if he went there.
I'm not sure Mr. Roper wasn't involved.
Right.
He wore them funky-looking outfits, man. He was a little bit weird. He didn't have the spirit mullet, did he?
I think I had those pants.
Yeah.
I had those pants when I was...
What do you mean you're wearing them now?
Still no, you have them on.
At least I'm wearing pants, Brent.
Your pants are Sansabelt, and they're not pants. They're slacks.
Slacks.
Oh, yeah. The adjustable waistband. Ooh. And the white patent leather shoes. Welcome to Tamarack.
He's got Velcro for easy exit.
This is Made Man Bob, and joining me today on the show are Made Man Brent.
Okay, you guys promised if I did the show, you guys are undoing it through these shackles that are holding me in today, right?
I told you can't have all the Lagavulin. You have to share. Damn it. There's only a whole... It's a 750. You have to share.
We have to tie Brent down to make him drink Scotch. This is a Scotch show today, by the way, kid.
And Made Man Maury.
Good morning, Bob. Excited to be here in the basement today.
And good old boy Justin.
Good morning, Bob. No, all we had to do was bribe Brent with boiled peanuts to drink Scotch. I was there.
And you.
That's good old boy Harmeet to you, Bob. Made Man Bob. I'm a made man. You wish you were a made man. The Bourbon Mafia.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
What do you call a guy floating in the ocean with no arms and no legs?
Bob. That's right.
I call him one of my victims.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to be tasting some interesting whiskeys today. So, Scotch. The spirits we're going to be tasting today from Valinch and Mallet, we have their Ardmore 8-year. We have their Royal Brackla 12-year. We have their Bruichladdich 15. We have a Tamdhu 20-year. And the last one from Valinch, we've got the Inchgower 21. And then the last one from Valinch and Mallet is the one that... Come on.
Brent's favorite.
Brent, get back to the tape. He's sitting in the corner rocking back and forth with the bottle. That's a Lagavulin 8-year.
Added a touch of water to mine.
Yeah. He literally poured a bottle of water in the glass.
Is it Mallet or Mallet?
Mallet. And the last one that we have is from the folks at Orphan Barrel, the Orphan Barrel Muckety Muck. So we're going to have Justin do our SIPS ratings.
Thank you, Bob.
Dear God.
One sip. Give me a glass of water to wash out my mouth.
I think Justin's had a stroke. Maury, you're a doctor. Check him out. See if he's had a stroke.
He sounds pretty much like he normally does to me.
Oh, okay. Then he's fine.
2 sips. Nice, but what else do you have?
Did you say 2 ships?
Well, isn't that nice?
There's 2 ships out there.
Like 2 ships passing in the night?
Yeah.
3 sips. Interesting. What was this again?
Interesting.
It's a good thing Sean Connery's dead. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, thank
he
God.
He would come for you.
Yeah.
He would come for you.
He would come and beat your ass.
4 sips. Let's keep this secret to ourselves. Pour me another.
That's classified.
Marco Ramius would beat you with a stick right now.
5 sips. Oh my, I was unaware anything could be this good.
Oh my goodness!
I think I just threw up my mouth a little.
Yep.
Okay. Dear God. All right, so let's move on from that tragedy. It's like, God, Lord. And we're going to have Maury tell us a little bit about Valinch and Mallet.
Thank you, Bob. Valinch and Mallet is an independent bottler based in the UK. It was founded by 2 friends, David Romano and Fabio Ermoli.
You can't get more English-sounding names than that.
Right.
That's right. With an eye on selecting and offering the best single cask whiskeys they could find. Their philosophy is to select casks they feel show the true distillery character while also choosing the casks they personally like the best, rather than focusing on which casks will sell the fastest. That's a concept. Today, we have a pretty broad selection of expressions from the Highlands and Speyside to Islay, so let's get to tasting. The first expression will be the Valinch and Mallet Ardmore 8-year, 97.6 proof or 48.8% ABV for those of you who are mathematically challenged.
I resemble that remark.
Any stare in your direction was purely coincidental, Justin. Ardmore was founded in 1898 by Adam Teacher, son of the famous Glasgow whiskey blender William Teacher, to provide whiskey for use in their blended whiskey. In 1955, 2 stills
By the
were
way,
added to the
Teachers is still
distillery.
one of the best bottom shelf scotches. It's, price-wise, it's not nothing to look at, but quality is there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. 1955, 2 stills were added to the distillery, bringing the total to 4. In 1974, an additional 4 stills were added, bringing the total to 8. The distillery maintained its own cooperage until the late 1980s, and the stills were still coal-fired until 2001. In 2014, Beam Suntory purchased the distillery along with the Teacher's brand. This expression started out with ex-bourbon casks from the Koval Distillery in Chicago. The folks from Valinch and Mallet then used these casks to finish a Colilla for 18 months. Once the casks were emptied, they were refilled with Ardmore for a full 8 years. Wow.
Welcome to All Things Scottish. Our slogan is, if it's no Scottish, it's crap!
Thank you.
Correct.
So this has a really light, pale yellow color to it. It's one of the lighter scotches we've seen in quite some time, but don't let the color fool you. On the nose, there's...
Can't drink color.
That is correct. Thank you, sir.
What if it's brown, though?
If it's brown, drink it down. Marzipan, almonds, a little heather on the nose. Don't really get much peat or smoke on the nose, but once it crosses your palate, you're getting that peaty smoke, pepper, heather, little sweetness of the malt. It's a very interesting whiskey. It's really opened up quite a bit with air. When I first tried it, I thought it was heavy on the peat, and the smoke. And now, as a lot of that's blown off, it's bringing in some of those nice, sweet, malty
the marzipan note
characteristics and the marzipan note. Exactly. It's got a medium finish. It's really a nice sipper. It's definitely more balanced than many of the smoky scotches. It's really got some elements that appeal to everyone. What do you think, Brent?
That when you mention the word balance on the smoke, that's the whole key to this one, is that you don't get the smoke on the nose, you don't get that peat and smoke on the nose, because you do get some of those almonds and the sweetness of that marzipan and stuff. And then on the palate, you get the fruit, you get the pepper, and you get a little balance of that smoke that's there, that peat, and it just kind of all blends together. It complements each other, where one doesn't off-put each other. So it really kind of works together with this, and it is enjoyable, but it's pleasant to drink, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Justin?
I found this was super pleasant. It reminded me of like a full picnic with the cigars at the end. It has so many notes. They all came in the right order. I could drink this all day. What'd you think, Harm?
Now you're making me second guess myself because I enjoy this whiskey, and you three do not enjoy peaty whiskey like I enjoy peaty whiskey.
Yeah, but this isn't really
it's a peaty whiskey. It is. It's not hitting you on the head with the nose.
That's the difference. It's got finesse. It's not just hitting you on the head with a block of wood.
So frankly, generally for me, Ardmore is one of my least favorite peaty whiskeys. It's a Western Highland. It's that style, especially their coal-fired stuff, was never the stuff I liked. I believe this. How old is this? You said it was an 8-year-old.
Well, you're a heathen.
This is the younger
so
stuff. This is after
me.
Deem Centauri.
Well,
took it right.
They took the barrels from Koval.
Yeah,
and then
Koval's bourbon.
Yeah,
and that's
and
Kalila,
then they had
which
Kalila,
is one of my favorite Spilas.
Yeah, so that so it had Kalila in it for 18 months, and then it was put in it.
So Kalila has a type of peat that's not super medicinal. It's got a more wood smoke thing going on here.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Ardmore generally is very rubbery, especially the stuff I've had from the older Ardmores. Very
well, this is kind of like a waxy
petrol.
finish to it, a little bit of waxiness on it on the finish.
This doesn't have like the distillery character. They say Valinch and Mallet want to go for a distillery character.
Right.
I don't feel like this is the Ardmore distillery character. But the whiskey is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, they also said
and the fact that you guys like it makes me want to.
They're picking the cast they like, so they like this.
But I like it. It's good.
Because we're right.
Like it.
Because we're right. Then he's
I
like.
don't want to agree with you, Brent. I don't want to agree with Maury.
It's your crowd pleasure.
And let's talk about Sean over here.
I swear.
So, in other words, it could actually be a Scotch that appeals to all drinkers.
It could be a Scotch that appeals. This is a Scotch you should get. This one speaks across party lines.
I think you could definitely take a non-peaty Scotch drinker, let this air and open up, and I think they could find merit in it.
Did you guys try with water at all or no?
Not yet, but I will.
I'll take some of that squirter.
The water might bring out more peat on the nose for you guys.
Let me see.
Again, half a glass of water and the residue of Scotch in Brent's glass.
I can still taste the peat though.
Yeah.
But it takes away from all the other flavors, and it only leaves me with the peat flavor.
Yeah.
So it messed it up.
brings out more.
Most people don't do drops of Scotch in a glass of water. Drops of water in the glass of Scotch.
Well, we'll be back. Hey, and we're back, and we're discussing some lovely scotches from the folks at Valinch and Mallet. We're talking about their Ardmore 8-year. Anybody have any last comments before we move on to the next one?
Is there more? It's going to be in the glass.
Yeah, there's
Where's
plenty.
The bottle?
Yeah, the whole glass.
So good.
So we're going to be rating the Valinch and Mallet Ardmore 8-year, well-deserved 3 sips.
Interesting.
Mallet was Mallet.
Mallet.
There you go. It's
So
English.
We're moving on to
Italians.
our next one, and we're going to have Harm tell us about that one if he can actually read the script.
Oh, I've been drinking too much, Bob. Thank you, though, for letting me try. This is good old Boy Harmeet, and we're drinking the
they know.
The Valinch and Mallet Royal Brackla 12-year-old. 97.6 proof, 48.8% ABV. The Royal Brackla was established in 1817 by Captain William Fraser. In 1835, Brackla was the first Scotch to be granted a royal warrant by King William IV, and hence became known as the Royal Brackla. In 1919, the distillery left the Fraser family and was sold to John Mitchell and James Lecht, who then sold it in 1926 to John Bissett and Company. And it was sold again in 1943 to DCL, the predecessor to today's Diageo. The distillery continued to operate with a hiatus between 1985 and 1991, until it was sold in 1995 to Bacardi as part of that deal that included the Dewar's brand. This expression we are tasting from the Royal Brackla Distillery comes from one of the earliest batches purchased by Valinch and Mallet when they were first starting their company. And all were filled to the distillery on the same day, and they have reserved the remaining casks with the plan of releasing them at varying ages as the experiment to compare them to give one another, one another as they to compare them to one another as they mature. Yeah, I told you couldn't read, man. Thanks for giving me the chance, Bob.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love. All right. The color is a bright gold, and on the nose, I got flowers and peaches and melons and cream. And Brent off the air told me licorice, and I do not get any licorice. I guess this is genetic, man. There's no licorice here. All I smell is the fruit and sweet cream and flowers. Having a stroke over there, Bob?
Yes. You want to keep going?
Yeah, okay. The mouthfeel, the palate. Oh. This is oily. It coats the palate. It comes in with candy and melon. There's no peat, but there's almost no peat. There's like a tiny, maybe just something in the water. There's not like a lot of peat smoke. Tiny bit of smoke, some herbal notes, maybe a hint of salt, but it's quite good. And it's got a medium finish, medium to long. I'm feeling it all over my palate. It just keeps mid palate and then goes to the back. And I could just smell this and drink this all day. And I'm not a huge fan of Royal Brackla, the ones we get in the United States, but Valinch and Mallet here did a really great job getting some of the best qualities of Royal Brackla and bringing them out in this 12-year-old barrel. Maury, what do you think?
Well, as much as I hate to agree with you, Harm, I think you nailed it.
You're a complete bastard and we all hate you.
That's true, too.
I really think you nailed it all the way around. I really don't have a whole lot to add. I thought that
okay, moving on. What do you think?
I thought the licorice was not very. You really had to dig to find it, and I really was having a hard time.
But some people get that, like Brent. You thought the licorice was.
I got licorice.
Yeah, I did not get that. But other than that, I really thought you were right on. I love the mouthfeel. It has a really interesting layered palate. I thought it was delicious. I thought it was an all-day sipper for sure.
I've had Royal Brackla from the distillery, and I've had private ones. It seems to be the guys doing the private barrels doing a better job. This is just really good.
I've never had Royal Brackla before, but I really liked it. I thought it was really nice.
Well, let's see what Bacardi does with it now, because they've got money to put some stuff in there.
Justin,
I thought this was a lot like creme brulee before you caramelize it with the torch. I really liked it.
Vanilla pudding.
Yeah, yeah, like vanilla pudding.
Yeah. Crustless vanilla pudding. Yeah.
Yeah.
he's so deep with his words. So
no, creme brulee is good. So this is half bruleed vanilla pudding.
Right.
There you go.
Pre-fire creme brulee.
Yeah.
No,
I even added a little bit of water, and I still get that licorice.
You still get the licorice.
I still get the licorice. But adding a little bit of water, what it kind of gives me like a fresh cut grass on the palate.
Yeah, the
grassy, like Malort.
That's a good note. I should have thought about that.
It really comes out a little bit with that.
I said flowers earlier, and I think it's more fresh. It's closer to fresh cut grass.
Yeah, there are some Malort notes.
Yeah. I didn't get grass. Grass is not a pleasant.
It's subtle, but it's on the finish.
Did you say Malort?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, man?
You're a sick son of a...
Yeah, God.
Are you insane? Maybe some mild post-traumatic stress disorder, but
he drinks a lot, so...
So yeah, I think I've got a pretty good handle on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's my life, too.
Anyway, this is lovely stuff, though. This is one of the better Royal Bracklas I've ever had as well. I think this is absolutely fantastic.
I can't wait to taste their older stuff.
It's got a great mouthfeel. It's just viscous and slight bit of oiliness to it. It's got just the slightest hint of smoke in the back. It's got that minerally saltiness on the front palate. A little bit of pepper, a little bit of spice. but the flowers and the sweetness up front, it's just so well done. So,
I just had a sip of water. That pepper is still there. It's coming. It's got a long finish.
Yeah, I mean this one's, and it's gotten better since we've opened it. So yeah. So we're going to be rating.
But it's gone from great to better. Yeah. I thought it was really nice when I first opened it, and it's just only gone up from there.
Yeah.
Some of them are a little closed. You open them, and then they really improve.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be rating the Valinch and Mallet Raw Brackla 12-year, well-deserved 4 sips.
That's classified.
All right, so we're going to have
that went up.
We're going to have Brent take on the next one, which I know he's going to love.
Well, because
this one was made for
you know
Brent.
what, right? You know I'm already going to mispronounce half the stuff in here. So
yeah.
So this is a Valinch and
okay, I'm going to help you out.
Yeah, Valinch and Mallet. Bruichladdich.
It's spelled Bruichladdich.
Bruichladdich, yeah, Bruichladdich.
15-year.
It's 108.2 proof, so 54.1% ABV. This one's got a little bit of kick to it. So the Bruichladdich distillery was established in 1881 by the Harvey family, a Scottish family with a long history in the Scotch business. The family ran Bruichladdich until William Harvey's death in 1936. It was subsequently changed hands several times and continued in operation until 1994, when it was mothballed. Okay, in 2000, the distillery was purchased by private investors who hired Jim McEwen, who dismantled and rebuilt the distillery, retaining the original Victorian-era equipment originally installed by the Harvey family. Unlike modern distilleries, Bruichladdich is gravity-fed and has no computer controls, relying instead on the art and skill of their distillers. The distillery is sold in 2012 to Remy Cointreau. Their Bruichladdich distillery produces the namesake unpeated malt as well as Port Charlotte, a peated malt, and the super peated whiskey Ardmore. It just sounds bad.
Ardmore might kill you.
Yeah,
It might kill Brent.
Right. The expression we have today from Valinch and Mallet was aged for 15 years in Ex-Madeira wine butt. So the color of this is it's a very like a white wine kind of color to it. On the nose, I get a little bit of grapes and prunes, but the most thing I get like a burnt match nose. Yeah, you got to say it's sulfur. I say it's a burnt match, is what I say.
Yeah.
And then on the palate, it's just the palate for this one doesn't work for me. It's like a popcorn, but I get like I'm tasting like that burnt match with the popcorn, so like a burnt poppy seed or something like that, or
I get some rubbery notes too.
Yeah, it's just not this one. This one's not for me. I can tell you that one. It's not. If you're a bourbon drinker, this is not in your wheelhouse.
No.
Nowhere near it.
No.
So, Maury, what do you think of this one?
Well, I think you're pretty spot on, Brett. I think that the burnt match and sulfur smell overpowers the palate. The nose a little bit. On the palate, I do like the sweet and salty popcorn, but there's definitely a sulfury aftertaste that really kind of drags on a little bit. And I don't know that was intentional, but it's off-putting. It's unusual. At the beginning, I wasn't sure if it was different, and I wasn't liking it because it's different, but I think the more I drink it, the more I realize that it's got a flaw. I think it was a bad barrel. I think the barrel had too much sulfur, and I think it's flawed. The whiskey, the back base whiskey, I think is quite nice, but I
love Bruichladdich, but this does not taste like Bruichladdich.
And I do like Bruichladdich as well.
Not at all.
Yeah,
this tastes about as much like Bruichladdich as Coke tastes like Bruichladdich. So this is completely different. But I
don't put it on your gums. People prefer snorting it in Miami.
No, it's I think that this is. I think they took the Madeira cask, and a lot of times
sulfur the hell out of it.
Rather than shipping them wet and refrigerated, in order to keep them from going bad, they will use a sulfur wick and go in there to kill the microbes. And I think they just way overdid it on this one because it is sulfur on top of sulfur. It might have been a lovely malt underneath it, but there's so much burnt match sulfur note on it, you can't really get through it and even taste it.
So, look, sometimes that sulfur will blow off with time.
We've
had these open for an hour.
Yeah. If it's a light sulfur note, a lot of
Let me
times
add some water
it will.
and see if it helps.
Yeah.
Again, Brent, there's not enough water in South Florida for you.
Yeah. And again, if it's a light sulfur note, like you said, sometimes it will blow off. This is not going to blow off. There's just
oftentimes Macallan is flawed by that. When you open a brand new bottle of Macallan, sulfur.
I mean,
you let that sit for a while.
Is there any trick that you can use, like you can with the cork taint with the cellophane? Is there any trick to like absorb the sulfur?
Frankly, if you pour off some of the bottle, you drink it later, and you give it some headspace and give it a month or so, that sulfur will go away. I mean, I used to show people how overly sulfured bottles taste. And I'd forgotten about this bottle, and I was asked to just describe it, and I poured some of this whiskey for everybody at the table, and we were all blown away how good it was. And I was like upset because this was not supposed to be a good whiskey. So I pulled one off the shelf, opened it fresh, and it smelled like burnt matches.
So maybe this one just needs to be opened up and let it.
Air,
this is air or something like that.
Yeah,
right now,
this one is. There's so much it's going to take a while. So
it'll take months.
Yeah.
You can't taste the Madeira. The Madeira, that sweet and salty popcorn.
That's the Madeira.
There's very little Madeira.
It's just overpowered.
It's under the sulfur. Justin,
really
do you get anything besides this?
I'd probably.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Now moving right along.
Probably appreciate giving this one a few weeks to air out because right now it's just
like airing your dirty laundry.
Well, we're going to give the Valinch and Mallet Bruichladdich 15-year 2 sips.
Well, isn't that nice?
So,
I think that it starts with Bruichladdich, which is always wonderful. Yeah, but this is
I'm gonna leave this thing open for a while and we'll see. We can always come back.
We'll come back to this bottle in a couple months and see how the headspace has helped us.
So next one that we've got is the Valinch and Mallet Tamdhu 20-year. So 106.6 proof, 53.3% ABV. We've done Tamdhu Distillery on here before. They were founded in 1897. Their first spirit came off the stills in 1898. The distillery operated continuously for over 100 years, except for a 20-year hiatus from 1927 to 1947. The production was continued until 2010 when the Edrington Group closed them. It remained closed until it was sold to Ian MacLeod Distillers, who resumed production of single malt in 2013. Tamdhu means Little Dark Hill in Gaelic. The current production Tamdhu is matured in sherry cask, all sherry cask. That was one thing I liked about them. Everything that they do, it's all sherry cask.
They're not all first use. You can tell from the color.
Yeah, but this expression we're drinking today predates that, and it was aged in an ex-bourbon hogshead. So let me grab that one.
You need more? Where's the bottle?
No, I'm good. Right in front of me.
There you go.
On the nose, it's beautiful. It's just sweet flowers like some apricots and honeysuckle and sweet white flowers in a field. And then on the palate,
it's almost jasmine. Try a little drop of water.
On the palate, it's got a great mouthfeel. It's got a really nice viscosity. It's not oily. There's just enough in there to give it that coat. And it's huge caramel, sweetness, honey, some white pepper spice toward the back. And it's got a really lovely finish. It goes on and on. Fantastic whiskey. Fantastic. What do you think, Brent?
Yeah, this has got a great mouthfeel to it as well. So when you smell it, you get those fruits and you get the flowery notes, and it kind of really like lures you in right away. And then when you put this on the palate, I was like, hey, this one's really good. Right away. It's like, and you reminded me, oh yeah, you like the Tamdhu Distillery. Like you've been a fan of them for a while. So,
not that you would buy a bottle.
No. No, but when we did that Tamdhu show, I mean, it was 4 or 5 expressions from them, and he liked every single one of them.
One day he will buy a bottle of Scotch.
And this one here's got a little bit of
the day he does. Yeah.
You know what I like about this one is like
we'll bury him with
on the palate. You've got like a nice little like ginger spice to it, kind of like for the finish, which really shines through, which is kind of nice.
But no Marianne.
No Marianne, but a nice little ginger. That's where Gilligan's Island came in earlier.
What do you think, Maury?
I agree with what's been said. I think it's a beautiful whiskey. It's got a wonderful nose. I love the viscosity on the palate. It's got layers of complexity. It's really delightful. You could drink it all day. It will appeal to a broad range. It's certainly, complex, interesting, and I really liked it. I'd come back to this.
Back in the day, Tamdhu used to get a really bad rep.
Yeah.
But They've been hitting
you know
out of the
what?
park lately.
There's a lot of them out there. You know, when Brown-Forman ended up with the 3 distilleries they got, you know, they went in and Rachel Berry went in and weeded out the bad ones, and they've been having fantastic stuff come out. Tamdhu's another one. Tamdhu is one that's been making great Scotch, but I think they just had some people just selling, you know, the not
barrels.
good ones, you know. Because I've had a lot of single barrel stuff from them through the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society over the years, and every one we had, I'm like, these are fantastic. You know, I mean, they make really good whiskey there, especially the stuff that's in the sherry barrels, and this isn't even sherried. And
this is sherry and bourbon, isn't it?
You know, no,
all
sherry.
Bourbon?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
What did you think, Justin?
So in addition to what everyone else said, I got minty note and then a menthol note on the palate and then a peppermint finish. I've never had all 3 of these notes in any spirit, and it's really good.
I'll actually
What
give
were you
the
drinking?
menthol, but I don't get the peppermint finish.
Yeah, I don't know what you were drinking.
Well, he has
Must have been that mouthwash, the scope that you had this
You know,
morning.
He's chewing a peppermint
it's a
candy.
white pepper on the finish, and I think that menthol note that you had earlier is affecting you. It's a white pepper.
Could be that acid he dropped during the last commercial. But
We recorded a show earlier where he was doing Bob Dylan. Yeah, you don't know what drugs
I
he's
detect the
taking.
white pepper on the palate, but I still get the distinct minty menthol and peppermint finish too.
I mean, it's subjective, man.
Yeah,
I'm not going to kick you out of the show.
I didn't have any scope today.
What'd you think, Arm?
I've got nothing to add. This is good. I've been interjecting through this whole thing. This is good whiskey. I want more. Bring it. Okay, fine. Let me give me some. Where's the bottle? I'm going to do a fresh pour.
Well, you got about a minute to get it done, so.
Dun,
Fine.
dun, dun,
If I
dun,
can find
dun,
it.
dun,
This is the wrong one, dude.
No, but this is
Oh,
this is something that if you're not a Scotch drinker, you can just sit back and enjoy it. I mean, this is a good introduction to Scotch for somebody that
most of the Tamdhu that's come out lately, the good stuff is 10 years old. They got a 20-year-old batch.
Yeah.
And they did a great. And most of the stuff from 20 years ago was not good. So Valinch and Mallet actually picked good stuff. And that's where these private bottlers really shine. Because 20 years ago, stuff coming from Tamdhu wasn't worth it.
Well, but what you're underscoring is the fact that picked barrels, whether they be independent bottler picks or store picks or private group picks, are always going to be a step up. And in this case, it's a big step up.
Yeah, this is worth seeking out.
From their commercial.
I wish these guys were in Florida. This is worth seeking out.
That was my question. Is Valinch and Mallet in Florida at all?
Not yet. I don't believe so.
Well, we're going to rate the Valinch and Mallet Tamdhu 20, 4 sips.
That's classified.
Hey, and we're back, and we're still talking about some of these lovely scotches from Valinch and Mallet, and we're going to have Justin tell us about our next one.
Okay. Next one we have is the Valinch and Mallet Inchgower 21 year. It's 105.6 proof or 52.8% alcohol by volume. The distillery was built in 1871. The Inchgower distillery was built by Alexander Wilson and Company to replace the Tochneel distillery. Probably killed that one. They continue to
I'm not going to correct him.
Yeah. Continue to operate until Alexander Wilson and Company went bankrupt. In 1936, the Bucky Town Council purchased the property for £1,600 and subsequently sold the property to Arthur Bell and Sons Limited in 1938 for £3,000.
Good deal.
Yes.
Made some money.
In 1966, the distillery was renovated, expanding the number of stills from 2 to 4. The whiskey produced there has traditionally been a major component of the Bell's whiskey blends,
which are huge in the UK. We just can't get them here.
As well as a component in the Johnny Walker blends. This expression we are tasting today was aged in an ex-bourbon hogshead.
Have you heard of Johnny Walker?
I have heard of Johnny Walker somewhere.
Yeah.
The nose was floral and fruity. I got green apple, rose petals, citrus notes with a little bit of jasmine and malt. On the palate, peach, pear, grilled pineapple, apricot, floral notes of rose and lavender. I found this was a pretty floral spirit. What did you think, Maury?
I agree with you. I love the nose. I think you hit it spot on the nose. On the palate, I love the tropical fruits. It was definitely fruity and floral on the palate, but it not exactly like some floral whiskeys taste like you're drinking perfume. This is not a bottle of perfume. This is really
I don't know,
delightful.
Maury. I thought this was kind of perfumey on the finish.
I thought it was delightful. I really enjoyed this. I think it was a nice segue after the Tamdhu. Again, it's got layers of complexity.
Talk into the mic.
Yes, boss.
I couldn't hear you, dude.
I like it. What did you find wrong with it, Harm?
I didn't find anything wrong with it. I've enjoyed every Inchgower I've ever had, but I've never had one directly from the distillery. It's always been used as a blending malt, like from this brand that apparently people call Johnny Walker. You might have heard of that one. And, of course, Bell's. But I've never had an Inchgower from the distillery release. I've only had these private releases. And it's always been small releases like this, single cask. Brent, you have the paperwork.
Yeah, there's 126 bottles released
There's
for this.
126 bottles of this whiskey in the world.
So that's it. And that's U.S. release.
Yeah.
There might be some others.
No, that's probably a single barrel. Maybe is that U.S. or that?
This is U.S. release.
Okay.
So 126 bottles in U.S.
That could be
a whole barrel at 21 years.
Yeah.
It's a hogshead.
Very much so.
Yeah, no, it's probably.
It came from a hogshead. It's probably a quarter of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, 126 bottles in the U.S. Every Inchgower I've had is awesome. The thing is, you guys were going on about that nose. To me, it was very muted until just now. It took some time for that air came out, and now I'm smelling those rose petals and that jasmine. But I got it on the palate.
Well, you finally pulled the cotton plugs out of your nose. It's about time.
No, see, I try to do cocaine on the weekends because this is Miami, and
it's free in Miami.
It's free. They give it away. It's
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Who says that?
Rick James.
That's Rick James, baby. Cocaine, a hell of a drug.
Yeah. No, now my nose is working. This is great. It's just I didn't get those notes earlier, but it's still finishing perfumey to me. So this is not the best Inchgower I've ever had.
You're slow.
Yeah.
Oh, he's slow. We know he's slow.
The other thing I got from the palate, the other thing I got, it was a little bit of strawberries on this one.
I got more pineapple than strawberry.
So I definitely got the grilled pineapple. Strawberries a reach.
All right. Well, we're going to be rating the Inchgower 21-year-old a well-deserved 4 sips.
That's classified.
So we're going to move on to another one from Valinch and Mallet. We're going to have Harm tell us about that one.
Thank you, Bob. This is the last one from Valinch and Mallet tonight. This is the Lagavulin 8-year-old, 97.6 proof, 48.8% AVV. This is my wheelhouse completely. This is what I've been looking forward to. And excuse me while I just take a big old sniff, get past all the cocaine, and the Lagavulin will burn past all that.
Yes, it will.
The color of this is light and pale gold. Just
might
like
even be the lightest color of the day.
It's like a Sauvignon Blanc. It's almost straw. The nose is sea salt and seaweed and iodine and a little bit of floral note. A wood smoke on there, and tiny bit of pepper. And then the palate. Spice and smoke and pepper. A little bit of peatiness. The flowers are there. It's floral as heck. I added a couple drops of water.
So did I.
And that brings up, Brent added a full bottle of water.
Quart.
We've gone through probably a case of water just for Brent. But just a few drops of water brings out some more saltiness. And the finish goes on and on and on. I mean, I'll just be here. Brent, you want to just go on it?
Yeah. This is going to kill me, because you make it sound like such a pleasant little journey through this, to this field. And this is full. You're like, it's just like a little bit of smoke.
Bonfire on the beach.
Right. But this is a huge bonfire. It's like nothing but smoke. It's all smoke. Even when you add water.
No,
this is like
so much more underneath.
Yeah, but you can't get to it. I mean, it's buried because of where the first one we had the smoke and we had the peat with it, and it was a balance.
Ardmore,
yeah. This one here, it's just overpowered by the smoke and peat to me. So I don't get you can't pick up all the other flavors.
Take you to the club. You have to do some more cocaine. That'll feel.
I have an idea. Why don't I just turn their mics off, and then me and you can just have a discussion.
Bob. Yes, Bob. You tell me about this Lagavulin, because I'm in love.
Yeah,
you have to really like that smokiness and that peatiness to like this one. If you don't like smoke and peat, you're not going to like this.
I had a 16-year-old Lagavulin just the other night with some friends, and that's overpowering iodine. That would have killed you just having it in the same room.
Yeah,
this
it's like kryptonite.
This is sweet and light compared to that. This 8-year-old is gorgeous.
I'd like to chase him around with an octomore and just see what would happen.
Well, Maury would die too.
And a super soaker and just like squirt him with it and watch him melt like the witch in the Wicked West.
I'm melting.
Oh my God. Of course, the problem is if I put octomore in a super soaker, I don't think it would actually work and go through because it'd be too thick.
Let's hear from another Philistine.
That'd be a waste.
Maury, what do you think about this? Are you with Brent?
I am with Brent. I think it's not balanced.
This is why they need to sit outside during the next show.
I think it's overpowered. It's oversmoked. It's not balanced. The base whiskey is nice, but you got to really wait a long time for that smoke to blow off.
Oh, I love this. Justin, are you with these freaks too?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Before water, it was in balance. I liked it. Once I added a drop of water, it just ruined it for me.
Really?
It was out of balance, and I didn't like it anymore. But if you drink it straight out of the bottle, you're fine.
To the head.
Yeah. Just lovely.
I poured it in my Glencairn glass, but
it's like the saltiness of the ocean, like a bonfire with seaweed and, a clam bake. And
no, I don't think it's like that though. That's you guys
go to the wrong bonfires.
Yeah. No, I lived on the ocean. I've had bonfires with the seaweed.
There are naked
stuff
witches dancing around the bonfire in my head right now.
Yes.
Buxom blondes and redheads.
Well, we're going to be.
I watched Outlander. I saw that. Yeah.
We're going to be rating the Valinch and Mallet Lagavulin, in spite of you, a well-deserved 4 sips because this is fantastic whiskey.
You've been overruled, Philistines.
So Maury is going to give us our last one from Orphan Barrel.
Why, thank you, Mr. Bob. The next expression, Orphan Barrel Muckety Muck. 24-year-old single grain Scotch whiskey at 90 proof or 45% ABV. Over the years, Diageo has merged with or acquired many distilleries and companies in the whiskey business, and as part of those acquisitions, they have accumulated a very diverse inventory of whiskeys over the years, some in large quantities and other in very small quantities. In 2014, they decided to do something with all this different whiskey, and the Orphan Barrel project was born. Their first 3 releases were Old Blowhard 26-year-old Expression, Barterhouse a 20-year Expression, and the original Rhetoric 20-year-old. And these were all bourbons, by the way.
And they're all freaking crazy on the secondary market.
Over the years, they have released several new whiskeys in the Orphan Barrel series of various ages and pedigrees. Gifted Horse, Lost Prophet, Forged Oak, Forager's Keep, and most recently, the Muckety Muck. Muckety Muck is a 24-year-old single-grain Scotch whiskey from Port Dundas Distillery. Originally established in 1810, the distillery was shuttered in 2010 and joining the ranks of the lost ghost distilleries. The old distillery once housed a large pig farm with their prize-winning pig named Muckety Muck.
I think that's where they got the name from?
No, they just made it up.
That's just a coincidence.
Coincidence?
So this has a nice golden color on the nose. Interesting. Little bits of oak, fruit, apples, peaches, vanilla. On the palate, it doesn't disappoint. You've got apples with layers of pear and ginger, clove, allspice, cocoa. And then if you really just chew it up and swallow down, you get this unbelievable rush of butterscotch at the end.
It took forever for that, dude.
It was late, but it was there.
Yeah, it's there at the end.
And it was wonderful.
This is so pleasant after that last one, isn't it?
It's delightful. It's delightful. And the finish is medium to long. I thought it was a lovely whiskey. I think it's beautiful. I think, as Bob stated earlier off the air, grain whiskeys are underappreciated, whiskeys from Scotland.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
They get a real secondary billing to
they're used as blending whiskey.
They are the mezcal to tequila, is what they are.
Yeah,
they're the vodka to to a Canadian whiskey is what they are. They're usually done not in a pot still. They're usually in a column still.
Correct.
They're made from wheat and corn. They're not made from malted barley. They're used for making blended.
But
whiskey.
the aged ones are delicious.
The aged ones
if you
are
can
freaking
find
amazing.
an occasional one that's been aged and forgotten about.
Oh, some of my favorites in the bar are 20, 25, 30-year-old.
I have a 45-year-old Port Dundas.
I mean,
well, bring it out, Harm.
Yeah. Yeah, cheap son of a.
Why don't you try to share with your friends? Justin, what'd you think?
Does internet porn know you're cheating on it?
Just wondering.
I really like single grain Scotch whiskey, and I really like this one. And
there's a little bit left.
Tiny left.
It had a gorgeous finish to it. It's complex. And I had a question about what Maury said earlier. So it could be corn or wheat. And a single grain, it's either corn or wheat.
No,
corn
that's not
and
true.
wheat.
Single anything other than single.
Oh, so it can be
anything other
multiple
than multiple
grains. But okay.
Just doesn't have any malted barley in it. The nomenclature for Scotch is weird. They're all whiskey is made from grain, right? They're all made from grains. But when
Not
you call
in India.
Scotch, it's malted barley. Yeah, not in India. There is whiskey in India made from sugarcane, which is I don't know how they call whiskey.
Well, they only call it whiskey there.
But the good stuff we get in this country is all malted barley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the
Some
Paul John, the Umbra.
some of the best whiskey in the world comes from there.
But that's real malted barley. Grown in the foothills of the Himalayas. If you can call Oklahoma the foothills of the Rockies, but that's all market speak. Anyway, back to this. Single grain means single distillery. Only one distillery, but it's almost always wheat over there, and there's some corn. There's what?
Yeah,
I think they could actually put malted barley in it.
Can they?
I think they can. It's a grain as long as it's a single distillery.
Under 10% or something. I don't think they use malted barley.
I mean, it's usually mostly wheat because wheat grows a lot better over there anyway. You know, especially like in France. You know, they don't grow. You know, here we grow a lot of corn.
That's the dirty little secret. A lot of the grain coming for Scotch is actually grown in northern France, especially for the big brands. It's not all grown in Scotland. You're going to get the boutique whiskeys. They'll be growing their malted barley in Scotland.
I mean, I really like the Orphan Barrel Project series. It's been going for a long time, and a lot of them have been really good. And this one's pretty good.
Yeah, we've had quite a few of them on the show. We've done Gifted Horse, and I think we've done Forge.
My least favorite.
We did Forger's Keep,
same.
which was that was the Fettercairn, I think.
Yeah,
and that was
that's right.
Really good.
That was like a 25-year-old Fettercairn.
Yeah.
How old was that?
Yeah, it's 25, 28. And we've done a lot of the we did the Rhetoric series. We did that on the show where we did
we do Forged Oak on the show?
Yeah, I believe so. We did like 6 or 7 different Rhetorics. Year to year to year. So I mean, they've done some great stuff with them. I mean, there's been some really interesting stuff that's come out of the.
So the oldest Rhetoric was what, 20 years old or 22?
24.
24.
Yeah, I think my favorite was the 19-year-old.
Yeah, the interesting thing on that was it just went up and down. You know, it was not. It got better every year. It got worse every year. One year was, good. The next year was like not as good, and the year after that was fantastic, and it bounced around like a tennis ball.
like what they're doing. It's a great series, the Orphan Barrel series.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's again, you've got a really cool old distillery that's not around anymore. You've got a really great old grain whiskey. I mean, what's not to like about that? That's so totally in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, this one's going to be a tough one to find.
Yeah.
This is...
I've got some too, but it's
you
not
can
cheap.
find it. But the problem is this is not inexpensive. But I mean, when it's a 24-year-old, single grain. I mean, it's not gonna be inexpensive. So it's gonna cost you a few bucks.
It's still half the price of an equivalent Macallan.
Oh yeah.
Less.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
But if you see it. If you can see it in a bar and give it a try, absolutely give it a try. If you've got the coin and the patience to spend it, you pick one up. Fantastic whiskey. We're going to be rating the Orphan Barrel Muckety Muck, a well-deserved 4 sips.
That's classified.
Yep.
Well, that's all for the show for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy it, please tap the subscribe button or the follow us button. The easiest way to listen to the show is to ask Siri on your phone, or Alexa, or Google, or whoever the lady is that talks to you to please pay podcast Sips, Suds, and Smokes. We love your feedback. You can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our daily tasting notes fly out on Twitter every day at Sip Suds and Smokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. And you can also interact with the thousands of other fans on those social media platforms. Do us a favor and please take the time to rate this episode. It's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. You can check out Brent, Maury, and myself on Facebook at the Bourbon Mafia. The Bourbon Mafia is a non-profit organization composed of bourbon enthusiasts and industry professionals with representation in 8 states, 2 countries. Our members combine a love of bourbon with a passion for charitable work.
Yeah, they're all made men.
Hey, we recently raised $30,000 for colon cancer. Yep. So,
nice.
I mean, it's that's
I know.
a big thing.
I know you actually do charity work. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank our co-hosts for joining us today. Thank you, Brent.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. You can unlock me now.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Maury.
Thank you, Bob. Another awesome day in the basement.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Bob. What a great day.
And thank you, Harmeet.
Thank you for bringing the Scotch day, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, somebody had to. God knows who the rest of these guys are.
I'm down with this, man. So much
fun. Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
No, I love an independent bottled Scotch. Absolutely.
Not all of them are great, but these guys did a good job, man. Valinch and Mallet, yeah.
They've picked some beautiful barrels.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get them down in Florida. So, well, thank you for joining us. See you next time.
This has been a one-tan hand production of Sip Suds and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the good old boys, will see you all next time.